Now, reduce the talk and put your plans into action. That's the call on the president by some youth groups who have been demanding an action plan from the government on climate change. Over 100 of the groups, which include CSOs on climate action, General Agricultural Workers Union and Forest Watch Ghana, say that government has done very little to address the effects of climate change. The president, in his address to the General Assembly of the United Nations this week, called on world leaders to commit to practical steps to counter the impact of climate change. But speaking during a peace march this morning, the group said the president should stop the nice talks and focus on implementation in Ghana.
A number of youth groups from different parts of the country who are demanding an action plan from the government to deal with climate change. As you already know, world leaders gathered at the UN are discussing the impact of climate change on the environment. Today here in Ghana, in Accra specifically, this group from different parts of the country are gathered here demanding action from government.
We are calling on our leaders to take climate action. We need instant action now. We are demanding climate action and climate justice. Climate is destroying the earth, is destroying the planet. We are facing the realities, and already we need action. We need to plant more trees and adaptation method. We need more action from the leaders. We need them not to fund fossil fuel projects. We need them to protect forests, and we need them to preserve and conserve the forest which we already have.
Sure. So I'll be engaging other members of the group to also find out from them. Let me find out from you. You are demanding action plan from the government. What exactly do you want government to do?
We are tired of the promises. We want action. Many times we've had campaigns. We started with the Atiwa Forest. We started for our rivers. They promised us without taking enough action. We want enough action. We are tired of the promises. When they make the laws, let them enforce it. Ban the plastics. Tell people to stop cutting the trees. Make people aware that we need to take care of our environment before we lose it, because when we lose it, then we lose our lives. So we are tired of the promises. We want action. Let the president take a firm stand and tell us from today we are banning plastics. Let the market women know that when you people sell to the people in the community and they demand for plastics, you, the market woman, it's your responsibility to say no. I won't give you that plastic you're asking for because it's not biodegradable. It doesn't degrade. It destroys our oxygen. It destroys the environment, the air we breathe, the water, everything. So we are tired of promises. We want action and we want it now.
Sure. So many of them are calling for action. Let me find out from a few others what exactly, how close are we to this effect of climate change they have been preaching about. Let me find out from them how you at home, how you can identify with the effect of climate change. What are some of the things that I can readily identify with?
So sea temperature, you find those that live by the coast, the sea is already taking away their houses and their livelihood. So it's time that we need to act now.
But we've been seeing that over the years.
No, but it's the effect of the climate change.
Okay.
The scientists have already said it. We need to listen to the scientists for what the IPCC is saying. And if we can act, we need to act now. Time is not on our side, and we are fixing the effects.
What are some of the effects you also think we are already facing as a result of the climate change we are talking about?
Okay, we are facing some effects such as asthma and bronchitis. Because, for instance, looking at the transport industry, you come to realize that most at times the fuels that come out of the transportation exhaust pipe, it goes into their respiratory system. It affects the lungs of people.
And all these have effect on the climate?
Oh yes, it has an effect on it because it's as a result of the climate that has an effect on humanity. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sure. You are busy taking photographs. Let me find out from you why you decided to join today's march.
I decided to join today's march because climate change is real and it's affecting all of us. And women are the most affected by climate change. So it's not surprising you see a lot of women here today. We are here to call on the government to involve us in the decision making when they are thinking about their adaptation and mitigation efforts to combat the climate change.
One would ask, how are women affected? This is the environment, this is climate. It affects everyone. Why women?
Because women are the most vulnerable when it comes to natural disasters. disasters. If you have a little baby and there is a disaster, there is flooding, how do you carry your baby? Women are mostly peasant farmers. When the climate change, they don't have money to invest in modern agricultural tools. So their peasant little farms are affected and they lose their source of income. That's why I'm here. Women's voices must be heard in this fight for climate change.
Educate our children and then go into key sectors. Like you said, climate change is no respecter of man. Everybody is a stakeholder when climate change affects us, from the richest person to the poorest person. So we have to make sure everybody understands that it doesn't matter where you are, who you are, where you're from. Once climate change decides to go into its highest level, you're all going to be affected.
Okay, thank you very much. Like I said, this work began last week, 20th of September, and we are ending it this week. And in the petitions that we put before government, we are asking for justice in terms of equality, how profits in terms of wealth is shared, and also how people who will be affected by climate change are also supported to deal with it. That is why we need adaptation mechanisms, and we are asking also for adaptation mechanisms such as improving public transport system so that we can make public transport more open and more people can have access so that we can park our cars at home and ride. If you travel outside this world, other parts of the country, people go on the public transport and they are good. And you see big men parking their cars at home. So we want to improve public transport system, improve health system, because with climate, it has issues it's going to have impact on health. So if you don't have good health systems to help people adapt, we are all going to suffer. And also because Africa is not responsible but most affected, we think that we need to start taking action to protect. So investments that are coming into the country should ensure that they enhance our natural solutions, not destroy them. So activities that destroy the environment and forest reserves and all of that, we need to stop them. We are doing well on trying to deal with galamsey, but more needs to be done. Because these activities are destroying our natural solutions that will help us build adaptation and also help us build resilience. That is why we want government, various agencies, and even individuals, everybody should act.
Because we see more of the policies coming up every year, but little action is seen on the ground. So this call is to call on government to expedite action on the things that they need to do in order to have a change in our system with respect to the climate actions. We've signed on to all the international conventions concerning climate change, even the SDGs. But when we come home, we see little of such action.
But the president is out there already giving an assurance that this and that is what we are doing. Is that not enough?
Yes, we know. We are not surprised because it happens every year when they go for all these international conferences. All the nice things are said. But when we come home, the ministries are there, the agencies that are supposed to take these actions. They do have plans and policies on paper, but when it comes to implementation on the ground, a lot is lacking.
Okay, let me find out from you. You are for the forestry. Let me find out from you, how bad are we seeing the effect of this climate change we are all talking about?
Yeah, so to us in Ghana, we are already experiencing the effects or the implications of climate change. Just recently, there was a publication from the Environmental Protection Agency, and they were giving an indication that from 1960 up to now, our rainfall pattern has reduced by 20%. So as a country, which is mainly agrarian country, and we relied on rain-fed country, you know the implications of reduction in rainfall pattern. And actually, agriculture also employed about 60% of our population. What it means is that if we are not able to resolve the issues of climate change and the rainfall pattern continue to reduce at its current rates, about 60% of our population are going to be unemployed because it's going to affect agriculture. And the states, even as a nation, our GDP, agriculture contributes more to our GDP. So implication on agriculture sector has an implication on the nation as a whole. That's the reason why, to us, we believe climate change is a critical issue that as a people, we need to take a stand on it. We need to resolve it now, and it should be now.
Agrochemicals continuously, it affects the soil. It affects even the products that comes out of it. So we are at risk. All of us, we sit in Accra and we want to promote eat green. But we are not very sure of the food we are eating, where it is coming from, who is spraying, what chemicals they are using. So we want to encourage all of us that when it comes to the battle, the climate change is a battle for all of us. We need to start from the grassroots. Our primary school, the children must know what climate change is.
What about at their level? What must they know?
At their level, simple things like when you drink pure water and you have the plastic, don't throw it out. Don't put it there because it's not degradable. The soil cannot take it. It will be there for 1,000 years. You can tell our children when they are spraying agrochemicals, you are too weak. Do not go there. We can encourage parents that don't destroy our water bodies when you are doing mining activities in the communities. Everything you use that has the potential to damage water bodies, please don't take it there because you can destroy it here, but the next person, it becomes drinking water. So we all have a responsibility to ensure that we keep, and then when you look at even agriculture in general, like he said, depends on rainfall. And the whole place is getting so hot. Even today in our places, you don't have fresh air entering your room. The room is so hot, and you have to come out.
That is climate change?
Whenever there is increase in temperature, it goes with decrease in water resources. And whenever there is decrease in water resources, it affects agriculture.